Peter Parker's secret identity as Spider-Man has been made public by J. Jonah Jameson of the Daily Bugle, who has also accused him of being the person behind Mysterio's demise and a mass casualty incident that occurred in London. He and Michelle Jones are forced to flee from the media and the police as a large number of bystanders in the area start to round them. They find May Parker and Happy Hogan hiding in Parker's apartment, where they learn that they had split up. Soon after, they are taken into jail for questioning by the U.S. Department of Damage Control along with Ned Leeds. Matt Murdock, who Parker retains as his attorney, is successful in having Parker's criminal charges dismissed. However, the intense debate causes Parker, Jones, and Leeds to be turned down from every college they apply to, including MIT, when they return to Midtown High for their final year. In order to get his friends accepted to MIT, Parker travels to the New York Sanctum and asks Dr. Strange to once more keep Spider Identity Man's a secret. Strange tries to use the runes of Kafkol to cast the spell despite Wong's warnings against it. Parker, however, constantly modifies the spell in order to spare specific people close to him from its effects. The spell then becomes unstable, necessitating Strange's containment of it. Strange yells at Parker to leave the sanctum because she didn't get permission from the college president to meet with him. Parker is directed to an administrator who is going to the Alexander Hamilton Bridge in an effort to appeal his, Jones, and Leeds applications after contacting Flash Thompson, who was accepted to MIT. Suddenly, Dr. Octopus, who appears to know Parker personally, ambushes Parker. He is grabbed by Dr. Octopus, who then removes a piece of the iron spider armor from him and applies its nanoparticles to his tentacles. Dr. Octopus tries again, but Spider-Man displays his face, which is unknown to him. After saving the MIT administrator from falling off the bridge using the nanites from his suit, Spider-Man takes control of Dr. Octopus' tentacles and convinces him to help get him and his friends admitted. Arriving and attempting to harm Spider-Man, the Green Goblin is taken inside the sanctum by Dr. Octopus and Lizard, who have been imprisoned by Strange. He explains to Parker that because they are aware of Spider Identity Man's Dr. Octopus, Lizard, and Green Goblin were drawn into this reality from alternate realities in the multiverse and are not native to it. Strange confines this magic in the mystical containment device known as the Machina D Catavis. Parker is given a suit enhancement based on magic in exchange for his assistance in locating and apprehending these visitors. Jones and Leeds are able to help Spider-Man find Electro outside of the city. He attacks Spider-Man after being startled and succeeds, but Sandman steps in to protect the hero. Together, the two cut the power wires, completely healing Electro's body. Sandman thinks Spider-Man killed him when he is taken to the sanctum, but he is also taken prisoner before he can take revenge. In another instance, Norman Osborn makes an effort to shed his Green Goblin identity by destroying his mask and running to an FEAST facility in search of safety. Osborn is found by Spider-Man, who also transports him to the sanctum with the help of May. Osborn, Dr. Octopus, and Electro quickly come to the realization that they were killed and then revived by the spell, indicating that they would die if they went back to their home. Spider-Man is informed by Strange that these three will perish in battle with their own Spider-Men. For the benefit of the larger multiverse, he plans to use the Machina to undo the enchantment and send them back to their fates. Spider-Man snatches the Machina before Strange can use it and runs away because he is convinced that they can be saved from death and their adversarial natures. In addition to trying to convince him of the multiversal stakes depending on the guests being sent back, Strange pursues Spider-Man, takes his powers back, and sends him into the mirror dimension to collect the Machina. Spider-Man returns to the earthly plane after entangling Strange in a web matrix and stealing his sling ring, unfazed. Before releasing the inmates from custody, he hands the ring to Leeds and the Machina to Jones. Spider-Man transports the multiversal refugees to Hogan's apartment and tries to treat them. With Dr. Octopus, he first creates a replacement inhibitor chip for his tentacles and raises the function of his upper brain using a Stark Industries fabricator. Electro also has an energy siphon built inside him that is intended to drain his powers. However, before he has a chance to damage Osborn, the Green Goblin assumes control of his body and convinces Electro to remove the siphon before it has a chance to completely drain his talents. He breaks inside an arc reactor and uses its energy to blow Octavius out of the structure. While Green Goblin attacks Spider-Man, knocking him to the ground floor, Lizard, Sandman, and Electro flee.
Running outdoors, May gives Green Goblin an antidote, but it is ineffective.
Green Goblin throws 2 pumpkin bombs after hitting May with his goblin glider. Spider-Man is unable to catch them, and they detonate nearby. May is found by Spider-Man in the wreckage. May, who was unaware of her severe injuries, lectures her nephew on the importance of persevering in the face of adversity and never giving up on helping others. Spider-Man struggles in vain to save May as she dies in front of him as DODC officers encircle them.
As soon as Hoban arrives on the scene, law enforcement seizes him.
Spider-Man escapes, distraught, as Jameson's gaslighting coverage of the attack makes him feel even worse about his guilt. After hearing nothing from Spider-Man, Jones becomes anxious and gets ready to turn on the Mac China, but Leeds accidentally uses the sling ring to open a portal. They search for Spider-Man and spot someone who resembles their Spider-Man calling him over on the other side of the portal. They quickly understand, though, that this Spider-Man is not theirs, but rather a Spider-Man from another dimension who has previously engaged in battle with the Lizard and Electro. Leeds tries once more, but this time he calls up a different Peter Parker, who has previously faced off against the Green Goblin, Octavius, and Sandman. The group eventually locates their Spider-Man by alone on top of Midtown and makes an effort to comfort him about May, but he is too upset by his errors to notice. The other 2 Parkers start revealing their own personal stories of grief and bitterness to help him cope and realize that he is not alone before he can use the Mac China to send the multiversal travelers home. After feeling better, Spider-Man resolves to carry out his original plan and heal the bad guys. The Parkers, Jones, and Leeds then withdraw to a Midtown classroom laboratory to develop the antidote for the bad guys. While Electro's Parker makes the Lizard antidote to restore him to normal, Osborn's Parker creates an anti-serum for the Green Goblin, and Spider-Man gets ready to cure Sandman and Electro. Then, with Jones still in the lab, Leeds uses a portal to take them to the Statue of Liberty. Spider-Man uses the Mac China as a bait while making a broadcasting call to the Daily Bugle to inform Lizard, Electro, and Sandman of his whereabouts. The 3 Spider-Men atop the scaffolding are attacked as soon as they arrive. The web-slingers are unable to work together well, which makes it simple for their adversaries to defeat them. Due to his expertise as a member of the Avengers, Spider-Man unites the 3 and becomes leadership of the group. The 3 take on the code names Peter 1, Peter 2, and Peter 3, respectively. They choose to battle and heal each adversary one at a time, starting with Sandman. Peter 3 restrains Lizard before locating Sandman's remedy and handing it to Peter 1. Peter 1 then gives the treatment to Peter 2, who then uses it to neutralize Marco. The 3 Spider-Men attempt to steal the arc reactor from Electro, but due to his heightened power from the energy source, he shows to be a match for them. Peter 1 is forced to leave the lab and engage Lizard in combat after he escapes and attacks Jones and Leeds there. Peter 1 makes Lizard crack open a vial carrying the antidote that transforms him back into his human form, Curt Connors, with the aid of Leeds and his sling ring. Strange, who Leeds unintentionally calls to the battlefield, knows Peter Pacifist 1's strategy is successful upon seeing Connors. Strange retrieves his sling ring and Mac China from Leeds. Electro overwhelms Peter 2 and Peter 3 until Octavius shows up to take the arc reactor himself and render Electro helpless with the final neutralizer. While Peter 2 happily reunites with Octavius, Peter 3 makes amends with Dylan. As Strange gets ready to use the Mac China to send everyone home, Peter 1 returns to the scene. Green Goblin suddenly surprises the group and steals the Mac China, but Octavius and Strange reclaim it. They were unaware that Green Goblin had hidden a pumpkin bomb inside the item. The unstable contained magic is released and detonated, rupturing the cosmos fabric and allowing access to the multiverse. Jones also tumbles from the Statue of Liberty as a result of the explosion. Peter 1 dives to save her, but Green Goblin knocks him aside. Peter 3 saves her, and he starts to cry because it makes him think of the night Gwen Stacy died. Peter 1 faces Green Goblin alone as morning breaks. He mercilessly beats him down out of rage and makes an attempt to kill him with his glider, but Peter 2 stops him. He is now vulnerable to the Green Goblin stabbing him in the back as a result. The anti-serum, which Peter 3 gives Peter 1, enables him to heal Osborn of the Green Goblin. He sees Peter non-fatal 2's injuries and understands the enormity of the harm he had done. Strange fights to keep the cosmos from falling apart as invaders are ready to enter this world through rifts in the universe. In order to remedy things, Peter 1 has him cast a new magic that will make everyone forget who he is. Following that, Peter 1 hugs his other selves, who implore him to carry on as Spider-Man.
With the new spell, Strange closes the rifts and returns Peter 2, Peter 3, Dylan, Octavius, Osborn, Marco, and Connors to their home universes. Spider-Man gives Leeds and Jones one last embrace before pledging to come back and assist them in remembering him. He leaves as Strange casts the spell, making everyone fully unaware of Parker's existence. A few weeks later, the holiday season had arrived. After being reminded of Jones' injuries, Parker chooses against getting in touch with his pals who are attending MIT. He pays his respects to May's grave and is accompanied by Hogan, a new acquaintance. Parker goes into a new apartment alone and starts GED prep in an effort to maintain his new way of life.
When he receives a criminal alert on his phone, he puts together a less complicated Spider-Man suit and resumes his heroics unhindered, living up to May's values of responsibility and community duty. In a scene during the credits, an alternate world Eddie Brock and Venom, who is a symbiote, are sitting at a bar discussing the Blip and other superhumans with the bartender. Strange's spell quickly transports the pair back to their dimension as they consider how to guard this new world, unaware that they left a piece of the symbiote on the counter.